All right. Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of Stuff You Need For. May is upon us, and May is Bike to Work Month in the United States. It's usually May 15th is Bike to Work Day, depending on the year. So fittingly, this episode, we're going to be covering everything you need to start bike commuting, starting with just the basics and then like everything you would need if you want to keep on bike commuting through bad weather in the winter and everything. And joining me today is Jason Ramsey. Jason's a friend of mine from when I used to work at Microsoft, and I invited him on because occasionally we would bike commute together from Microsoft in Redmond to Seattle.
That's right. Hey, Ben.
Hey. And Jason, you still occasionally ride home from work, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I actually haven't done it that much this year yet, but hopefully as the weather gets better. But yeah. I've done maybe like twice so far.
Okay. It's May. And I think it's like 15 or 20 miles, right? So
yeah, it's about 20. It's a little longer since we're living here now, right? In Wallingford.
Yeah. So I actually, since I no longer work at Microsoft, my work's only like 5 or 10 minutes away. And I've been commuting like every day because it's super easy for me, almost easier than driving. So hopefully that will give us like two perspectives about the extremes there of what it's like. So basically, if you're just starting bike commuting or trying it out for the first time in May this year, we're just going to run through a couple things. There's only a couple things you need. And then we'll keep going, as I said, with, shoes and racks and everything if you decide to do it in an ongoing basis and even in bad weather and stuff like that. Cool. So starting out, the first thing you need obviously is a bicycle. If you have one, just use it. If you're just doing it for the first time, that's great. If not, there's kind of a couple of decisions you need to make just based on what your commute is going to be like. So I think Jason and I both when we bike together, we were both using just road bikes, like regular, drop bar like this and everything. And I think some people get intimidated by that, but I mean, when you first rode a bike like that, was it that hard to adjust? Not
really. Yeah. I think I've done the ride on a mountain bike and a road bike, and definitely can tell the difference with a road bike. Like my time, I just shaved off a lot of time using the road bike. Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually think maybe it'll take you 5 minutes to adjust to your hands like this instead of like this. It's actually, I think, more comfortable to have sort of that handshake shape where your hands are vertical against the ground to ride than it is to have them parallel to the ground. If you're listening, I was making those two motions. Road bikes are typically like way more efficient. Like you don't realize it if you've never tried one, but you can go way faster, way easier. So if you're starting out and you're getting a bike, I recommend a lot of people get these like hybrid bikes and things like that, but I think those are usually, they're cheaper, but they're usually just not good at anything. So basically your decision is going to come down to if you are riding to work, are you going to be riding only on pavement? Because obviously a road bike doesn't work well if you're not on pavement. They have these skinny tires that have no tread on them. And then the other kind of decision you want to make is like, are you just planning on doing fair weather, like when it's sunny outside, or do you want to be able to year round kind of go in the rain and things like that? So basically, between the two of those, I have a couple recommendations, but first I just thought I'd mention, like, if you're just starting and you're not sure you're going to do it, I think your best option is, you can follow these guidelines, but either just rent a bike. There's a lot of shops that'll rent a bike for not very much, for just a couple of days. And then you can even try a couple different bikes that way. Usually they'll have some hybrid bikes and some road bikes you can try, or buy a used bike. And then it doesn't have to be that nice. If you stop doing it, you're not out that much money, just sell it. If you decide to keep doing it, sell it again. Since it was used to begin with, you can probably get most of your money back, and you'll know a little more about the type of bike you prefer at that point. So if you're just thinking about doing a fair weather biking, which I think that's that's probably the most reasonable thing for most people. It means you can't like totally get rid of your car or anything, or your bus pass, but that's the most comfortable kind of easiest thing to do. So in that case, you can go pretty cheap. You can just get they're called like a sport road bike sometimes in the categories. But, just a lower end road bike with skinny tires. The skinny tires make it easier to go fast because there's less like mass on the outside of your wheels to get going. So it's easier to like go from a stop to get going. Just one thing to note is, if you do that, be careful even when the road is wet outside. It's very slippery. I mean, that's another thing you noticed. Like, I don't know if have you ever wiped out or anything?
I've come close, but not certainly over like kind of like potholes or in the city.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. So so I've had a few close calls, but nothing. Luckily, touch wood, nothing yet. So
I've had one time I didn't like wipe out, but I was like going along this, like the bike lane on the side of the road. And then some guy like jumped out from the sidewalk into the street going the wrong direction on his bike. And I like suddenly tried to stop and my bike did like a complete 360.
Yikes.
But I didn't fall over or like run into traffic or anything. And that was using skinny tire road bike in the rain, which is just like not as safe to do.
Yeah.
So just go really slow if you end up stuck in the rain. And if you decide to get that kind of bike, there's bikes that are based on these sort of long distance models of bikes that are more comfortable, meaning you're more upright. A lot of road bikes, you'll be like bent over, hunched, like so you're aerodynamic as if you were racing. But if you're just bike commuting, that's kind of silly.
Yeah, mine's pretty upright. My ride, it's like it's a lot more comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
So one line of models to look at for that's available in many places is called the Specialized Sector line. It's like spelled SECTEUR. All their names are kind of French sounding like that. And it's based on their Roubaix line of long distance carbon fiber bikes, but it has an aluminum frame, which is both cheaper. I mean, it's a little less comfortable because it's like vibraty. But it's lightweight and you need a metal frame to support a rack if you're going to put a rack on the back of your bike. And I think they have kind of a pretty broad line. I think they start at like $800 or so. And what was your bike did you get?
Mine's actually a Cervelo. It's an RS, I believe, but it's not available right now anymore. I think it was known for, it's kind of like the Specialized.
Okay.
Same kind of review with being quite comfortable.
Cool. Here, I'm just going to adjust your mic just a tiny bit down so you don't have to reach for that. So I mean, if you're never going to carry a rack, then you can go carbon fiber. It's more expensive. It's lighter. It's a little more comfortable. But it's not something you necessarily want to spend the money on if you're not using it for like long distances or racing or something like that. Or, I mean, if you have the money, go for it. Otherwise, if you're planning on going in the rain, there's a couple of things that are really nice. Fatter tires will help you get more traction. It's going to be a slower bike, but if you get fatter tires, potentially with tread, so if there's like leaves or something in the fall, it has a little bit of a grip to it. That works out well. I actually got a bike this winter that'll meet all these these features, that is so much safer. Like even just in like a little bit of rain, like it just stops. I don't have to worry about it. So the fatter tires, that's a big part of it. The other is the braking mechanism they use. So like most bikes use these little caliper pincher things on the rim of the bike to slow you down, like little rubber pads.
Yeah.
The downside of that is if you like go through a puddle or it's really wet, the rim can get slick. So there's something called disc brakes, which is just there's a metal. That's what it sounds like. There's a metal disc at the center of the tire, and then there's another rubber thing that grabs that as it's spinning around, and that keeps it out of the water, and that also makes it easier to stop fast. I actually don't think that really matters if you have like skinny tires that are not going to give you traction, and if you stop those tires, you're still going to keep going. So I never really thought much about disc brakes before because my tires, I could easily stop the tires before I could stop the bicycle. So
yeah, I had them on my mountain bike, and I can definitely say that they were much more effective.
Yeah. So if you have a bike with tires that'll let you stop, you might as well get them, and it stops right away. They came from mountain bikes. They're a little heavier. They're a little more expensive. I think that's why people don't always get them, but they're getting more and more popular. So the subtype of road bike that you might look at if you're getting this kind of bicycle is probably like a light touring bike, meaning touring is like where people put bags and like go camping and go cross country on their bikes. But they work great for commuting as well. Or sometimes there's this thing called cyclocross where people go through dirt and pavement, and it's more racing oriented. So it's not always exactly what you're looking for. But that kind of bicycle is another like set to look at. You definitely want fenders. Basically, if you are on the road when it's wet, even if it's not raining, like your tire will kick up mud down your back, and you get this gross like mud line right on your butt. So it's very unflattering.
I currently don't have fenders, and it's a little ridiculous. Yeah, because I get that all the time. So yeah.
So do you ever bike in the morning like that, or?
No, not really, actually. Yeah. So I tend to bike home at night, like after work.
Okay. So you put your bike on the bus to come in, or get a ride
so
or something?
I usually bring it on the bus, and then I'll just bike back one way, because also it's about, I don't know, it's over an hour ride. So doing it like more like an hour and 40 minutes, I think, these days. So it's a little much to do twice a day for me.
Yes, definitely. I know when I used to do it, it took me like almost 2 hours. So you want those fenders, otherwise you're going to have to change your pants when you get to work. The bike I have is, it's kind of expensive. It's the Salsa Via line of bikes. There's a Via 3, which is the cheaper one for $1,500. And then the Via 2, which costs about $2,000. Although with all these, you can probably find them, like in the winter for cheap on clearance. It's a light touring bike. It has really upright sitting, so I'm very comfortable. It's very fat tires. I think maybe too fat, but you can change those easily. Disc brakes, everything, a bunch of braze-ons, so I can put racks and things. So I mean, either way, regardless of whether you're planning on going in the rain or not, it's nice to have a metal frame so you can put a rack on it, so you don't have to carry a backpack and get your back all sweaty, to carry your clothes and your shoes, change of shoes and things like that. Just some general guidelines for hardware. If you're buying a new bike and you think you're going to be serious about this, I mean, you're going to save a bunch of gas, so get a decent bike. If you are confident that you're going to do it, or you've tried your used bike for a while and you're looking for a new one, there's these component lines, which are just like the gears and the shifters and all that stuff. There's one main company, Shimano, that makes them in the kind of reasonable price range. And then there's another range, a company, SRAM, which used to, I think, only make mountain bike components, but they started making road bike stuff. And so if you're in the Shimano line, you want to get Tiagra or better. So you can look it up online, but basically there's a couple below Tiagra. There's I think 2300/Claris is the really low end, and then there's something called Sora, then there's Tiagra, and there's 105, and there's a bunch of stuff above it. But I mean, if you're not racing, then don't spend all that money on that. So Tiagra or 105s are kind of typical. You'll see a lot. And I mean, like I said, it may seem like a lot of money to spend like about $1,000 or more on a bike, but if you really are switching over to a bike, even if it's just for the summer, like you're going to save like $30 a week on gas easily. Depending on your car, you're going to save on maintenance. You're going to save on all that stuff. I mean, imagine how much you put into a car, or even a bus pass like in Seattle, costs a couple bucks each way. So, so you need the bike. And then the only other thing you need if you're just starting out is a helmet. And I mean, I don't know if you have any opinions on helmet. I should just go get whatever.
Yeah, no, I have my helmet's pretty light right now. I'm just taking a look at yours.
Oh yeah, this is my helmet right here.
Yeah.
I got this one on CR Trading Post. Really, I don't really see that big a difference between this and like a $15 helmet you get at Costco or something, like, or Target. They get lighter, they get more holes in them for aerodynamics.
What about safety wise? Do you?
I think in fact the lighter and the more holes there are, the less safe they are, I assume. But they all pass the same safety test in the U.S. I forget what the name of it is. And I mean, it's the same test they use forever, where they basically like drop it with a thing inside it and see if it cracks. And I've read some things like about, related to like motorcycle helmets and things, where that may not be the best way to test a helmet. So, but they don't really have a consistent, better way to do it. So you can also spend more money if you want them to look cooler, or like there's the like skater style helmets that cover your whole head. I'm not sure if they're that much safer or anything, but get whatever you want that's comfortable. I don't think you need to spend more than $15 or $20 on it. You like stuff you see at Target, it's cheap, like $15 or $30. It might have blinky lights. That's nice. So if you have that, you're set. Go bike to work. Otherwise, if you already have that and you're interested in like getting more serious, like you're going to bike all summer, you're going to
upping your game.
Yeah, upping your game. There's a lot of stuff you can buy for a bike. So one thing is like, if you're not just going to work during the day and when you know it's going to be light outside, there's lights, there's all sorts of things, there's shoes to make you more efficient. So we'll just run through a bunch of those in no particular order, and talk about it. So the first thing that you're going to have to make a decision about if you buy a nicer bike is what kind of pedals to put on it. And those pedals typically have a clip, although they're called clipless pedals, which seems silly to me, but I guess it's because like the older bikes where you'd stick your shoe inside a cage, maybe that was called a clip. I'm not sure.
I see.
So there's a lot of options there, and particularly for road bikes, there's all these like really lightweight things. But so what I have, and I think you have the same thing, right? There's these little tiny metal things. They're called SPD pedals from Shimano as well.
Yeah, that's right. I have those.
And they're more traditionally used for mountain biking, but I think you can put them in a shoe that you can actually kind of walk around in.
Yeah.
Like my shoe's still this metal inside it, this little metal cleat. It's about an inch long if you're listening, and it sits inside the sort of ball of your foot. Mine, it still clicks on the ground. I haven't found a shoe that doesn't click.
Yeah, I just basically wear them for cycling, and I don't really walk any distance with them.
Yeah, so there's that downside. So don't wear them like on your wood floors at home. You'll make little divots like I have. But otherwise, you can walk a little bit with them, like if you're just going into a shop. So the reason I recommend those is it's actually like way, way, way more efficient. Like, I don't know if you notice it, like going up hills and things, I think it's like 30% or so more efficient.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go back. Like, I think at first I had to practice on grass, just because everyone I know who's made the transition has taken a bit of a spill at one point.
Okay.
But it does, you get used to it pretty quickly. So, and it's hard to go back after you've switched to clip-ons or whatever.
Yeah, and everyone says that, and everyone who tries it also says, "Oh, that's way easier than I thought it would be." Because basically, you step in, like getting that, and then it's really easy to get out. You just rotate your heel out, and it pops right off. There's you can get a different one where you can rotate either way. So basically, if you're feeling nervous, you're like pushing your feet away from your bike, they're gonna come off.
Yeah,
but you're right. Like
they can switch the tension to I forget. Like I know my tension was a lot less at the beginning, just so I can get out of it. I could get out.
Yeah,
of it quicker,
to make it easier or harder to get out. Like some people don't want to accidentally fall out. So, so I really recommend you try it. For a commuter bike, one nice thing for pedals, there's a lot of options. They all cost about $40 to $80. And if you're worried about it too, like even if you don't want to try it at first, is you can get these pedals. These are the Shimano. I think they're A530 pedals. They about $50 on Amazon, and your bike's not going to come with pedals, so you're gonna have to get some pedals. But these ones have both a regular platform for shoes, so if you're just doing like a really quick run to like the corner store or the grocery store, if you live near one, you don't have to get on your bike shoes and get out of them or anything. And then on the other side, they have the clip-in for the SPD. So I've had these on both of my commuting bikes, and it means I can just quickly grab them if I'm already in regular shoes and need to do something quick, or if I'm going to go to work or I'm going to go up a hill or something. I always always grab my bike shoes and do that.
I should probably get those, because I find I don't have the non-clip-in side, and I do find it not ideal sometimes when I want to just do a quick trip to the store. Yeah,
yes, totally. So so that's that. Shoes wise, I just go to store and try them. There's a bunch of they call them either touring shoes usually, and they usually have some on sale that are really cheap. And I mean, with shoes, you just have to try them on to make sure you get the right size, or you could buy a couple and return some online. I have just some random Shimano shoe, like lowest end one they had. It worked fine for me. I don't know. Do you have like fancy shoes or like?
No. I think, I've had them since they're pretty old. They're Shimano, and they've done the trick. Yeah. Since like from my mountain bike, I've used the same one. So I've had those for, I don't know, it feels like over 10 years now. So yeah. So they last a long time.
You're kind of set there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the first thing you have to actually make a decision about, just because they're going to ask you at the shop, what pedals you want on your bike. You can also take it home and put them on yourself. You just wrench them on. They're slightly confusing because one goes on counterclockwise instead of clockwise, but you can just look that up in the online or in the book that comes with the thing. So we talked about shoes, talked about helmets already. Lights, you definitely need lights if you're going to be out at night, and that's just so you can be seen. Even if you're in a bright city that's well lit and you can see fine, you want the cars to see you and turn them on in the dusk and things when the sun's coming at you. So you want bright lights, and they're just easy to find now. They're much cheaper and much smaller than they used to be with LEDs. So for the front light, you want at least 300 lumens is a good guideline. I get these. It's from Sigolite. It's called Metro. They have a couple lines that are actually almost exactly like this, just different retailers, so they can't price compare. But I think when I got it, it was around $40 or $50. And it's quite bright, and it has lots of modes like blinking, etc. I mean, I've got a bright light on us right now, so it may not be super bright. USB rechargeable. Look them up on Amazon. There's always, just to search for Sigolite Metro. There's a bunch of different versions, and different ones are cheaper at different times, depending on, I guess, the LEDs they were buying at the time.
Do you find you take those off, like you just kind of stop them on and off? Like basically when if you're parking somewhere, like at work, do you take them off, or do you kind of leave them on the bike?
So if I'm out, my bike's just like on a rack outside somewhere, I definitely take it off and just take it with me. Mm-hmm. If I am at work, they actually have a bike cage at work. I leave it on there. Yeah. If it's somewhere dangerous, or not dangerous, not even dangerous, just like open to the public, I almost always take everything off my bike that's easy to take off and just take it with me. For the rear light, and actually Jason just the other day gave me this cool light that I'll show you in a second, but I'll show you this other one first. So this is another Sigolite light. It's also USB rechargeable, which is nice, so you're not like going through batteries for it. And it's called the Sigolite 2014 Hotshot 2-watt SL USB rechargeable tail light. If you go to stuffyouneed4.com, and there'll be a link, or check the YouTube video for the link. This one is brighter than normal. You can see it from the sides, which is really important. And then it also has, is it dead? I might need to USB recharge it. Sorry, I won't be able to demo it, but I need to plug into my USB again, which is funny. I don't think I've actually charged it since I got it, so that's probably why. But the nice part, it's clip on, so you can put it on your backpack, on your belt, on your seat bag, which we'll get to next. And actually, Jason, you just got me this really bright. So it's on the back of my helmet. It's like clips onto a magnet.
Yeah, it was like the Orphos Flare.
Orphos Flare, yeah. Here, let me turn it on because it's like super bright. There's like
It's not working. It's USB as well, so maybe it didn't.
Oh, yeah, I didn't charge it, and yet just got it. So.
Yeah, I think mine I had to pre-charge before I.
Oh, okay. I'll have to charge it, but this thing is like crazy bright. Like even in the day, my dog was scared of it. Where did you get it? Did you just get it on Kickstarter or something?
Yeah, actually, I saw it on Kickstarter, but I went to a bike show here in Seattle this year, and they were demoing it, and it looked pretty cool. Like it's it's very bright. So it's kind of one of the brighter ones I've ever seen. So
yeah, it was really cool. It's like super bright, and then it has these magnets. So I've like attached a magnet to my helmet. They're really strong.
Yeah.
And kind of scary, but there we go. And then you can like attach another one to the frame of your bike or something. But I'm glad because I'll put on my helmet, because then like that's the first thing drivers will see if they're going over a hill or something.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing the reviews for it. I just got one myself, and I've only used it the once so far. So
can you get that online, or do you have to like find the guy who makes them or something?
No, actually, yeah, they're available online. I think they. I actually don't know much about it. I think I see the box there, but I don't know their full story. But I know that they just shipped a bunch in May. In April. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So look those up online. It's by orphos.com. I'm not sure. ORFOS.
I think it's like .bike or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Google them then.
Yeah.
Or look them up online. And see how they're going. So so those are lights, and they're important because you want people to see you. And if people don't see you, they will run into you, and that's terrible. Actually, if you bike a lot in like heavy traffic areas, you'll get really mad at people not seeing you. So do everything you can so that they do. So after that, I was just going to recommend getting, this is called a seat or a saddle bag. It goes like right under your seat. So your seat goes over the top and it wraps around through the, like, this Velcro's on through the around the seat post and then through the little bars that hold your seat. And this is all you really need most of the time with you. And why you want it is it holds a bunch of other tiny things like lights and things, and you can take it off with you if you want to go into a store or something, leave your bike alone outside. Mm-hmm. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just for a tube and a CO2 cartridge thing, and just kind of my patch kit. Yeah,
exactly. So this fits basically all the things you need to like repair your bike on the fly. This one's called Surface, SERFAS. So we'll go through kind of all the stuff you put in this kit next. So here, I'll open this up. The first thing you want is a spare tire, and there's not spare tire, spare tube rather. This is for my thicker bike. My thicker tired bike, they're much smaller normally. And one thing I like, really the only thing about this that I like tell people is if you get one with smooth sides this is a Presta valve, which most road bikes have, then it's easier to use the like clamp on, clamp off pumps. And then it's a spare tire. Those are like $5 to $10. You can just get one when you get your bike at the bike shop or look them up online. This is called a set of tire levers. They're usually only $5 at the most. So these are for helping you pry up the edge of your tire so you can get out the tube under it to change your tube. And I don't ever bother like trying to patch my tubes. I don't know if you do.
So I do have a little patch kit that I bring around just in case, but I can't say I've ever used it. Like I've just basically switched the tube, but I kind of figure, okay, what happens if I can ever carry one tube, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And just in case, like, I have another incident, so.
Okay, yeah. I tried patching a tube once and it did not go well, so that's why I've stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And they're so cheap. Like you could get, if they're like $5 or $6, just get a couple of them. Very rarely will you need to use them. I had a bike where I needed to all the time, and I think it was just because there was like something wrong with it, or like the tire, or maybe when you're changing tires, one thing I didn't know at first that you should always do is feel around and find if there's like a bit of glass embedded in the tire. Because if you change the tube and there's still glass in the tire, it just
happens again, right?
Yeah, so it was happening to me all the time, and so it was either there's like a little burr on the wheel itself, or I just was failing to get out the little bits that were popping my tubes. I have a little garage door opener there. That's what that is. Otherwise, you can get these little mini tools. So tire lever set, just get any one. They're $5. They're plastic. Look them up. Park Tool makes one, if you can find on Amazon. This mini tool is I think it's the Topeak one. Yeah, Topeak. It's really tiny. It has basically all the little Allen wrench tools you need and screwdrivers you need to fix anything thing on your bike. Most of the time that's just going to be like your seat post got loosed or something and your seat dropped and you're like, oh, I need to reset that. If you get more advanced, you can retune your derailleurs and things like that. Otherwise, let's see. I have, this is a air pressure meter for my tires. And this is for if I'm changing the tube, my pump doesn't, tiny pump.
Can I see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's like $10 or $15. This one is called AccuGauge. Some of them don't work very well, so try it first when you get it.
I have one on my my pump, but I don't actually bring my pump with me when I'm cycling. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's all I have in here. So you said you also have a CO2 cartridge. Have you ever had to use that?
So I haven't, and I'm a little scared.
Okay.
That when I actually do, if I'm going to be able to use it correctly. But I hear a lot of people actually blow the tube the first time they do it.
Yeah. So I was going to say I did that at first, and the salesman told me not to, and I still did it.
Yeah.
And I had not to get one, just get a regular frame pump. And yeah, basically when you do it, it goes really fast and you have no way to know how much pressure you've put in the tube.
Yeah.
And then, in my case, I didn't blow the tube. I finally got it filled up, but the thing froze onto the, onto the valve. Cause as all that air is going out really fast, it's like physics, it gets cold. So it froze on, and then I tried to get it off.
And you broke the valve.
Yeah, the valve came off. It actually, there was still air in the tire, but the valve was totally busted. I just lucked out that it wasn't that didn't blow the tire either. So to address that, I got a frame pump finally, and this is the one I got. It's really tiny. It mounts on a little thing that straps on under your water bottle cage. It's really lightweight. It's even lighter than a CO2 cartridge. And it actually works pretty fast, so this is a Lezine road drive. I'll put up a link on the post. But basically you just take this little bit out, you screw it on this end, and you pump it like this. And it only takes a minute at the most to pump up a tire on a skinny tube bike. If you have a fat tire bike, it'll take a little longer.
Sick.
But
cool. I should check this out. I haven't actually seen it. So.
Yeah, I think it's about $40, $45 on Amazon. Maybe 50 in a bike shop.
Mm-hmm.
But the skinnier they are, the easier they are to pump because there's less per pump. But you don't need that much to pump up a skinny tire bike.
It is quite light.
Yeah, and you can get one with a valve on it on that little rubber bit I took out a second ago. I don't know if the valve is super accurate, so that's why I have A, I don't have that piece, and B, I don't.
Do you find you use the gauge when you the?
Oh yeah, the dial gauge. Yeah. So basically, what I do is I pump this up until I think it's about right. Yeah. I use the dial gauge. I need to keep pumping, and then do that a couple times until I get to 80 or 100 psi, and then that's enough to get home. Yeah, so that's bike pump. So all these things fit on your bike, and you don't have to carry them or put them in a bag or anything yet so far. So that all that stuff is great. So otherwise, you just need a water bottle holder. Just get a cheap one. There's no reason to spend a lot of money unless you like the look of one. And then that mounts on your frame. And then I use this Camelback Podium Big Chill, and they're kind of expensive for a water bottle. They're $15 or something. But I like it because it squirts water out really fast.
I'd have to say I got this too just by chance. We needed another one. We were going on STP, my partner and I, and we just grabbed those, and to be honest, we both love them now. We don't want to use the other one with just it's a lot more comfortable. Yeah, and it's really easy to clean. I usually don't like all the squeezy things because it's so hard to get soap in and out of them. Yeah. But this one, it just goes in on both sides really easily, and then I just squeeze some water through to get it to get the soap out, and it's fine. I like it a lot. Yeah, actually, so you just mentioned STP. So Jason goes every year from Seattle to Portland, which is it's 2 days, right? Yeah, you can, if you want, you can do it in one day. I've yet to do that. I kind of like the 2 day
How many miles is it?
I think it's like 204 miles.
Holy cow, 204 miles in one day. That would be rough.
Yeah, but I have a colleague at work who does it, and yeah, he said he actually prefers that, like just to kind of get it done.
Yeah, he's probably faster than I am, so
he races. So
yeah. Yeah. So do they have like a backup stuff if your bike falls apart, or what do you do for that?
Yeah, that's really well supported. So you don't really have to worry so much. Like I've had, I'm lucky that I haven't had a flat, but really it's, you could, and everyone, there's so many people who are doing it, like, I don't know, I want to say 10,000 people or something. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's there's always someone there if you get in a jam, and there's a lot of support. So
okay, yeah, it sounds really like a lot of fun. Although I find that the longer I'm on a bicycle, the more uncomfortable my butt gets. So like
yeah, sometimes after doing it,
amazing.
If you haven't trained for it, you kind of don't want to get back on your bike for a week or two after that. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that pump. There's also floor pumps, and I'm going to hold this up and hopefully not bang my microphone. This is a Topic again, Joe Blow, some model. There's a bunch of them. Just get whichever one has your type of valve, which is typically Presta valve, which are the skinny ones that just need air pressure. And the head of this one clamps on, and this is why you want a smooth barrel on the valve, because this rubber can get torn up by the. I've had to replace the head before, torn up by the threads on the tires. But this, I mean, it's really fast, basically, to pump up. You can't, like those little tiny floor pumps and things that for kid bikes don't really work when you have to pump up to high pressure, like a road bike. And road bikes, the other thing about them is you probably need to pump them up about once a week, because they'll lose pressure over time. And maybe not once a week, that might be too much, but certainly at least once every other week or once every month. Yeah, and then if you are into like data and tracking your rides and things like that, you can get either a bike GPS like this. This is a Garmin 500. This combined, I think it's like $200, and then combined with like a heart rate monitor, a non-GPS like speed detector that detects how many times your wheel spins around, and a cadence monitor, which is your cadence is how many RPMs you're doing pedaling. Which is actually important for fitness, because you want to be going faster rather than slower. So most people naturally go about 60 RPMs. But if you want to like get, a good cardio workout, you want to be going like 80 to 100 instead. And like as you're going up hills and down hills, it can help you decide what gear to be in. Or you can just use your phone. The reason I use this is I got it a long time ago, before my phone was good enough to do that. But the other reason you might want to use a separate device is you won't use your phone's battery. So you can upload this stuff to a website called Strava. There's also an app from Strava, or Ride with GPS, which will track your ride as well. And that gives you your heart rate and all sorts of things on your ride if you want to, see how well you're doing and improving over time, in addition to speed and stuff. And then finally, the only other piece of like gear you might want for your bike would be a bike lock. So at work, do you have a bike cage at work?
Yeah, we do now in my current building. So that's nice. Like I still lock it in there, but I feel pretty confident. You feel more safer in that. Yeah. And then you said you'd even had it. Didn't you have your bike in a bike cage and somebody stole it or something? I've had a couple issues, like one in my garage in my previous apartment. I had the wheel stolen, and I saw it on like footage of it, video footage, and it was just they did it so quick, like within, I would say less than it felt like less than a minute,
Yeah. So basically, even if you're in a bike cage, you might want to get a bike lock, and when you get a bike lock, U-lock is fine, but get one with a cable that can thread through both your back tire and your front tire, in addition to your bike frame, so that people don't steal the pieces off your bike, which is super annoying.
Yeah.
And then, so there's U-locks, and then this is more expensive. This is called, I got it on Kickstarter a long time ago for cheaper, but it's called Tiger, like T-I-G-R, and it's a titanium band. And the idea is that, like, if somebody uses a pipe cutter on it or something, like people will do to break U-locks, it just bends sideways. It's like so bendy. and you basically put it through your back wheel, through your frame, and then through your front wheel, and then it bends around whatever bike rack you're using it. And this little end piece comes on like this. You press the button. Now it's not working. Anyways, believe me that normally it works. Or maybe I already pressed the button. Anyways, this button presses, it locks, and then you have a special fancy looking key to unlock it. They have a bunch of different versions now. I got it was less than $100. Now it might be more than $100.
I saw this actually at the bike show as well. So,
oh, really? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I was tempted to buy it.
So yeah, I mean, they know bike people are gearheads, and they'll take you for whatever money you're willing to give. But it's super convenient. It's really lightweight. I like it. So yeah, so there's all that stuff on the bike. The one other thing is, like, if you need a change of clothes when you go to work, or you want to carry like a jacket because you're not sure what the weather will be like, your choices are basically you can wear a backpack. And Osprey Packs makes a whole bunch of really cool looking backpacks for cycling, some of which have a vent. I don't like wearing a backpack because I get sweaty. My back is sweaty. And like if I'm going to work, I don't want to change my clothes if I don't have to. I'm not very far. I don't normally get sweaty otherwise. The other option is they're called panniers. They're like saddlebags. They can go on the back or the front of your bike, mostly on the back if you're not totally loaded up. There's a company called Ortlieb, O-R-T. I don't know how to say that. You know how to say that?
That sounded good.
That's what that's what everybody has.
Yeah.
It's O-R-T-L-I-E-B. They're kind of expensive and you have to buy them in a pair. Although there's a company that sells them individually under a different brand name. They're waterproof. They're durable. Here's mine. I think they look kind of cool. It's my like stormtrooper looking one. They have these reflectors on them. And they're really quick, like go onto the rack on your bike, come off again. You need a rack on your bike, but I just have my like rain jacket and warmer coat in there. And then otherwise, like you get cold on a bike much more easily than if you're not on a bike. So for that, you probably want like a windbreaker at least. I wear these full finger gloves while it's chilly out until basically it's 70 degrees. And when it's really cold, I have another pair. These are just Pearl Izumi. I think they were cheap on sale. I have another pair from Castelli that have Thinsulate in them, and they are, I'll put the name of them on the post, but I think it's like 3.1, Castelli 3.1 gloves, and they like really warm, because it took me a long time to find bikes that in the winter when it's like 40 degrees or colder.
Yeah.
Like my hands were freezing.
It's, your extremities are not
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. You don't really need to do spandex or any of that stuff that makes you uncomfortable. Your butt's probably going to be sore the first few times you ride, but that goes away. Although if you're doing longer rides, I don't know, when you come back from Microsoft, do you wear bike shorts with the gel padding in them?
Yeah, I tend to wear, I don't, if it's like Pearl Izumi bike shorts or something like that, but I find, if you're going to be going on like over an hour ride, it's kind of,
so if you're just like a 10 or 20 minute ride to work, don't worry about it. But yeah, if you're on a longer ride, they're probably worth it. You can wear them under pants and things. You don't have to, look like I don't look like I should be in I mean, I don't look great in spandex, so I don't typically do that. But you might want to wear like nylon or wool, quick drying stuff, bright clothes so people don't run into you. Rain jacket, get like a bright colored rain jacket. I just have a super lightweight one, and then quick dry nylon pants, and I bring a change of clothes in my bag if it's wet outside. Normally I don't get that wet, so the quick dry nylon pants, if I get just a little water, then it's fine. I don't know. Do you have anything else you bring while?
No, I think you actually, maybe the only other thing is glasses.
Oh, like, yeah. I don't think of that because I wear glasses. Yeah. So
I don't wear them, but I find like I don't even like cycling without them now. I have ones that I don't know the brand, but they're interchangeable. Okay.
Are they like sunglasses / clear?
Yeah. So when I'm on a long ride, I definitely have sunglasses on, and then but even after work, I always put the clear lens in because I find I just don't like the wind blowing through my eyes and stuff like.
Right. That makes total sense. Yeah. I don't pay attention at all because I wear glasses all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think probably doesn't matter whatever glasses you like. Yeah. So Otherwise, oh yeah, one question I also had was, do you bring stuff with you? Do you bring like a backpack, or do you have saddlebags, or do you just go?
Only when like I've had panniers when I was going on a long like trip, but basically like just going to work and stuff, I tend to not like to have anything on my back.
Yeah, I think you can.
It's more comfortable. So
yeah, I think you can avoid it. The shoes are the only thing you might need to, if you're switching shoes, you might need to bring other ones. Although sometimes I've worn my clip-in shoes at work and just not worried because I sit down at a computer all day.
Yeah, or I've definitely done that. Just left a pair of shoes at work.
Oh, that's a good idea. I just leave that. I actually do that too. Is I have a pair of shoes at work, so that makes it easy. So then it's only really if you need a change of clothes or jackets and things, which like maybe in the morning you need a jacket and then in the evening you don't. So then panniers or the backpack are good. And then when you're at work, some people, you said you have a bike cage. Do you leave it in there? Or do you bring it into your office? Or
yes, my old building, I actually did bring it in, but I'm in a team room now, and there's not a lot of space.
Oh yeah.
So I do tend to just leave it in the cage now.
Okay.
And yeah, I lock it. But
are there a lot of bikes in the cage? Or
they're actually like even though. I mean, we're just coming upon better weather now.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few bikes in the cage.
Okay, yeah. I leave them in. Yeah, so I also at Google we have this giant. Everybody's in a big room, so I have at Microsoft, especially when I used to have a nice like carbon fiber bike that I'd ride and not a commuter bike. I always brought it in. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think that's really it. Unless you have anything else. So if you have any questions or suggestions or comments on this stuff, feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube channel or visit stuffyouneedfor.com. There's a comment section there for the post. You can find me on Twitter at Adjustable Bias. I don't know. Are you on Twitter?
No, I am, but not
publicly. Yeah, okay, yeah. So tweet at me and I'll ask Jason whatever questions you have. Anyways, thanks for listening and happy biking.
Take care. Bye.
Great. Yay. Thank you.
That's okay.
You did great.
That's funny.